necessary for the national emergency. There is a national emergency, but it's in Canberra. And we need to mobilise for that national emergency to drive those people out of Canberra. I just want to mention Jim Molan, because as long as they stand alongside Jim Molan is a butcher of Fallujah. He stood with the NATO forces and planned the surrounding of Fallujah in the Iraq War, and don't read his book. But if you want to see what a mad side he really is, have a look at his book. He loves drones. He loves the military, and that's why Tony Abbott loves him, and it's why we are not going to have Tony Abbott as Prime Minister of Australia. But let me just say, this isn't a question of the election. We know now that no matter who wins that election, we're going to be left with an asylum seeker policy which will expel asylum seekers and try to keep them out. We are going to build a campaign between now and the election, because an election that Kevin Rudd wins on the basis of trashing human rights and expelling asylum seekers is not a win that is worth having. We do not want a Labor Party in power after the election, which is committed to such abominable policies. So we will fight between now and the election. We're going to rally in Albanese's electorate on 24th in Marrickville. We're going to rally in Marrickville to make a point very clearly to the Deputy Prime Minister that he's no longer welcome in Marrickville. Committed to those kinds of policies. He can go to Mount Asylum, he can go to PNG. We don't need him. We don't need him in the city. I also want to remind people that in 2001, John Howard said exactly the same thing when he started the Pacific Solution. No more refugees, no asylum seekers would come here. They would be sent to Nauru, and not one of them would set foot in Australia. In the end, actually, the majority of people who are found to be refugees did come to Australia and did come to New Zealand. Why did that happen? It's actually because we built a campaign. We built a campaign not just in the streets of Sydney and Melbourne and Canberra and Brisbane and everywhere else, but we built a campaign in the schools, in the workplaces, in the universities. We took the argument into those workplaces and into the suburbs. And that's what we need to do now. We need to build a campaign which is angry. We need to build a campaign which has got roots. It is absolutely fantastic that we've had so many unions this time without prompting. So many unions have carried resolutions opposing what Kevin Rudd and Tony Abbott are doing. That's an enormous beginning, and we have done that. We have done that because we have made it very clear to Kevin Rudd and to Tony Abbott and to the union leaders that there is a movement that sees the bedrock of human rights, and we are not going to shift from that bedrock, and we will fight from that bedrock. So we need leaflets, we need resolutions, we need fact sheets, we need meetings. We need discussions in the schools and the universities to build this. We need to make sure we've been a bit bigger from last week at this one. At Marrickville on the 21st of August, we need to make sure this is 2 and 3 times the size. It'll be a few weeks before the election. Then it will send a very, very clear message. There are going to be demonstrations on that day right across the country. So people who can stick around and have a bit more discussion about how we build that, as I said, we're going to meet just behind here. But I think we need to finish on the note which actually sends a very, very clear message to Kevin Rudd and to Tony Abbott. Not Nauru, Kevin Rudd, not Nauru. And we've said before, we send our solidarity to the people who are now in prison and the people in the detention centres in Nauru. Not Nauru, not Manus Island, not PNG, not in our name. Not in our name, Kevin Rudd, not in our name.
So Omar, back there when we were doing this